The morning in Nyalongo City is loud and busy, and Kesi moves through it with a bag of tomatoes balanced on her hip. She almost slips in a pothole and laughs at herself, shaking her head. Her bright orange chitinge dress is patched at the waist, sewn by her own hands, and she hums a little tune to keep her spirits steady. When she reaches her husband's family compound, the noise changes. Aunties sit in their clean lace dresses, cousins in neat shirts, and in the center, on a plastic chair like it's a throne, sits Mama Ola. Kesi bends to greet her, already knowing what is coming. Mama Ola looks her up and down and says the same cutting line she always uses. Laughter rises around them, sharp and quick. Kesi forces out a thin laugh of her own, the kind that feels like it's slipping away from her, and she tries to make a joke, but her eyes are already burning. She turns before anyone can see the tears forming. As she walks toward the smoky kitchen at the back, her shoulders lift just a little, as if she is holding herself up against a heavy wind only she can feel. Family gatherings in Bobai Estate slowly turn into the same painful routine for Kesi. She spends her evenings cutting old fabric, joining colors that don't look like they should match but somehow do, shaping dresses that feel like little miracles to her. She arrives at each gathering hoping maybe this time people will see the effort, or at least keep quiet. But the moment she enters, Mama Ola's voice comes fast, sharp, and loud enough for everyone to hear. She jokes that Kesi looks like she chased a curtain and lost, or that she should borrow a real skirt, so her son can stop being embarrassed. The crowd always laughs. It grows and grows until it fills the room. Kesi laughs too, but her laugh is thin and shaky, and it tastes bitter, like something she wishes she could swallow back down. Every giggle around her feels like another pin landing on her skin. When the day is over, she goes home with Jabari and closes the door to their tiny bedroom. She places her handmade dress carefully on the chair, smoothing the fabric as if it has feelings too. Then she sits on the edge of the bed, holds her hands in her lap, and finally lets herself cry. The tears roll down slow and quiet, making small wet marks on her cheeks. She tells herself again and again that clothes cannot break her, but deep inside she feels cracked already. Jabari tries to comfort her, but his words fall flat. He says she should ignore his mother, or that she jokes with everyone, but these soft words do nothing. They hurt even more because they make her feel unseen. On weekends, Kesi escapes to Cower Market. She walks slowly between the fabric stalls, touching bright materials she wishes she could afford. Each one feels like a dream she can almost hold. She imagines dresses she could make, jackets that would turn heads, skirts that would make people smile instead of laugh. While the sellers shout out prices and children weave through the crowd, she stands still for moments, picturing herself wearing something bold and beautiful, not as a joke, but as a statement. She imagines strangers admiring her work. She imagines respect. She imagines pride. These imaginations spark something inside her. It's small at first, almost too tiny to notice, but it burns quietly under all the hurt. It's a feeling that whispers she is more than their laughter, more than their comments, more than the small life she has been pushed into. She goes home with her heart beating a little faster, like something inside her has started waking up. Even on the nights when she cries again, she feels that ember glowing. It tells her that one day she will rise above all of this. One day they will not laugh at her clothes. One day they might even clap for her. The heat at Mbale Bus Park hangs thick in the air, and Kesi walks slowly, trying not to draw attention to herself. She is wearing a dress she almost left at home. It's deep blue, stitched together from 3 old skirts she found in a second-hand pile. She shaped it carefully, pulled it in at the waist, let it open at the knee. But now that she is outside, she keeps tugging at the hem like the dress might betray her at any moment. People rush around her carrying bags, shouting for buses, buying fruit, and Kesi tries to melt into the noise. She feels silly, like everyone can see her doubt. Then near a fruit stand, a woman she doesn't know steps right in front of her. The woman has a basket balanced on her head and the kind of confidence that fills a whole street. She looks Kesi up and down with bright, curious eyes. "Sorry, sister," she says, shifting the heavy basket a little. "But that dress is fire. Where did you buy it?" Kesi freezes. For a moment she thinks the woman must be joking. People don't compliment her clothes, they laugh at them. She blinks surprised and her cheeks warm as a small laugh escapes her. "Buy. I sewed it," she says, almost whispering. The woman's eyes widen. She lets out a long, low whistle. "All you're talented, do you take orders?" The words land in Kesi's chest like a drumbeat. Talented, orders, someone wants her work. For a second her head feels light, as if the whole world tilts. She looks at the woman again, trying to make sure she heard correctly. But the woman is already nodding, already asking how to reach her. With shaking hands, Kesi borrows a pen from the fruit seller and scribbles her number on the back of a sugar packet. Her fingers tremble so much she almost drops it. She hands it over, still half expecting the woman to laugh and walk away. But she doesn't. She smiles wide and says she will call soon. When Kesi turns to leave, she can't stop giggling. The laugh bursts out soft and shocked, like it has been trapped inside for years. She presses the back of her hand to her cheek, wiping away a small tear she didn't even notice forming. The noise of the bus park seems different now. Lighter, almost musical. As she continues walking, the world around her feels wider than it did a few minutes ago. Her dress no longer feels silly. It feels brave, special. She keeps touching the fabric as if it has suddenly become precious. That one compliment, simple and unexpected, opens something deep inside her that she didn't know was still alive. It feels like a locked door inside her heart has finally creaked open, letting in a bright, warm light she thought she had lost forever. The first order comes from the same woman who stopped her at the bus park. She calls saying she wants 3 dresses for her sisters in Lukasa district. Kesi almost drops the phone in shock. That night she spreads the fabric on the bedroom floor, measuring and cutting with so much care you'd think the cloth could feel pain. She works until her back aches, until her eyes blur, until her fingers sting. She pricks herself so many times she starts joking quietly that the fabric is taking her blood as payment. But she doesn't stop. The small bedroom is hot and crowded, but to her it feels like a tiny workshop filled with hope. Every now and then she pauses and listens to the faint sounds of Nyalongo at night. From somewhere far away, music drifts through an open window. She closes her eyes and imagines a stall with her name on it, people walking by, pointing, smiling. She imagines a mannequin in the window wearing one of her creations. The picture makes her heart race. When the sisters arrive to pick up their dresses, the house fills with noise. They try on the outfits and start spinning in front of the mirror like excited children. Their laughter is loud and real. One of them hugs Kesi so tightly she almost falls over. Another flips her hair and shouts that she is going to crush the wedding. The whole group bursts into giggles. For the first time in a long while, Kesi feels her chest open with pure joy. She watches them twirl and thinks, maybe I can actually do this. News spreads faster than she expects. Soon, neighbors from Chuma Street are knocking on her door, holding fabric in their arms. They speak with shy smiles, asking if she can turn old material into something fresh. A lady from church brings a faded Ankara cloth and asks if Kesi can make it look like Instagram. Kesi laughs, but she takes the challenge. Every evening becomes a whirl of scissors cutting, needles flashing, thread running through her fingers. She prays quietly as she works, whispering for strength, for customers, for courage. She sleeps late and wakes early, but this tiredness feels different. It settles in her bones like a warm blanket, not a heavy weight. It feels like purpose. After a few weeks, she walks into Nyalongo Cooperative Bank with a small envelope of savings. Her steps are shaky, but her smile is steady. She fills out the form, hands over the money, and watches as the teller stamps her book. Each time she does this, she whispers under her breath, "For the future shop," like she is speaking a secret only the universe should hear. She imagines a bright place of her own, with shelves of fabric and a sign that says Kesi Culture. The thought fills her with a soft, glowing pride. Back at home, she picks up her scissors again. The room is quiet except for her gentle humming. She looks at the fabric spread before her and smiles because she finally sees it clearly. This is not just cloth. This is her beginning. The River Lights Festival is all anyone talks about in Nyalongo. Posters hang on shop walls, children run around shouting plans, and every street feels brighter. When Kesi hears there will be stalls for crafts, she doesn't think much of it. She tells herself she's not ready, but her friend from church keeps pushing, reminding her that people love her work. After days of persuading, Kesi finally fills out the form. The moment she submits it, her stomach twists with fear. The night before the festival, she sits on the bedroom floor surrounded by fabric. She cuts belts, sews headbands, fixes tiny details on skirts. Her hands shake as she works. Every few minutes she whispers, "What if nobody buys?" Then she forces out a tiny laugh and says, "Someone will. Someone has to." Sleep doesn't visit her that night, only nerves. When morning comes, the festival looks like an explosion of color. Music blasts from giant speakers. Vendors shout out prices. Children run around with glowing sticks, creating bright trails in the air. The smell of roasted meat mixes with the scent of sweet mandazi. Kesi sets up her little table, smoothing out each piece of clothing. Her stall stands in the middle of all the noise like a small garden of fabric. She sits on her stool, hands in her lap, pretending not to be terrified. At first, people only glance. Some smile politely. Others walk past without stopping. Each time someone looks away, Kesi's heart sinks a little. But then a teenage girl pauses. She picks up a skirt, touches the fabric, and lets out a loud, joyful awe. She spins around with it pressed to her waist. Her excitement pulls in her friends. A woman joins them and tries on a bright jacket. She refuses to take it off and waves money at Kesi with a huge grin. Suddenly, things begin to change. Sales start slowly, then pick up speed like a river after rain. More people gather around the stall. They laugh, try on clothes, take photos. A mother buys matching dresses for her daughters. A man buys a shirt for his wife. Kesi finds herself standing, smiling so wide her cheeks hurt. She ties belts around customers' waists, pins hems, and answers questions. For the first time, she laughs without holding anything back. The laugh rises from deep in her chest, warm and full. Someone posts her work online. Then another person does. Soon, people walk up saying they saw her stall on social media. By the time the sky grows dark and the festival lights blink across the river, her table looks almost empty. Only a few scraps of fabric remain. When she finally sits down, her feet scream, her back aches, but her heart feels like it's floating. She opens her money box and stares at the notes and coins stacked inside. Her eyes blur instantly. She covers her mouth to stop the shaky laugh that almost breaks into a sob. She has never seen this much money from her own work. What she doesn't see is the distant cousin of Jabari filming her from the crowd. He captures her bright smile, her busy stall, and the little handwritten sign that says Kesi Culture. He posts it without much thought. He doesn't know that this short clip will move from phone to phone, spreading faster than anything she has ever imagined, carrying her name into places she has never been. By Monday morning, the video from the festival has spread through Nyalongo like wildfire. Women in WhatsApp groups forward it with long strings of heart emojis. Men comment that they love seeing local talent winning. Teenagers duet the clip, pointing to outfits they want Kesi to make for them, adding playful captions. Every few minutes, Kesi's old phone buzzes with a new message or a new order. Her small notebook fills so fast with scribbles that she can barely read her own writing. She finally buys a real order pad, smiling at how grown-up it feels. Then one afternoon, a message pops up from a boutique in Atari Mall, asking if she would like to display a few pieces for a weekend pop-up. She has to read it 3 times to believe it is real. But the biggest shock comes when the video arrives in the family group chat. Kesi is in her tiny workstation, humming off-key to an old love song as she irons a sleeve. The room smells like warm fabric and fresh thread. Suddenly Jabari rushes in, waving his phone like it's on fire. His face is wide with excitement. "Babe, look, my cousins just posted this. Have you seen it?" He taps the screen and the video starts playing. There she is. Kesi watches herself laughing, a real laugh from deep inside, the kind she thought she had buried. She is tying a belt around a customer's waist while a small crowd claps and cheers. Her stall looks alive and bright. The caption reads, "From mock to iconic, meet the designer shaking Nyalongo." She presses a hand to her mouth, stunned. It feels unreal, like watching a version of herself she had only dreamed about. Meanwhile, in Akani Estate, Mama Ola sits on her couch watching the same video. At first, her lips twist, ready to drop a familiar comment. But she keeps watching. She sees the crowd around Kesi's stall, the joy on people's faces, women shining in the clothes Kesi made. She sees the comments rushing in praise, excitement, love. Her eyes narrow, then soften. Her sister beside her lets out a surprised awe, hand pressed to her chest. For a moment, something shifts in the older woman's expression, pride mixed with something she doesn't want to name. A few days later, the family gathers for a cousin's birthday party. Kesi walks in wearing a dress from her new collection. The fabric is a deep green that lights up her skin. The shoulders are bold, the slit climbs her thigh with confident grace. She almost didn't wear it, afraid people would talk. But when she steps into the room, everything stops. Conversations freeze. Forks pause in midair. Someone lets out a soft whistle. Then the room breaks into warm laughter, not the mocking kind, but the amazed kind. Even Mama Ola can't hide the way her eyes travel from the fitted waist to the neat hem. She doesn't speak, but she doesn't have to. Her silence is louder than any insult she ever threw. Kesi feels it. For the first time, she is not the girl they laugh at. She is the woman everyone is suddenly proud to know. The kitchen is warm and crowded with steam from the jollof pot, and the small window is fogged like someone breathed on it. Kesi stands by the counter, wiping her hands on a towel, still glowing from all the compliments she received at the party. Her new dress hugs her in all the right places, the deep green shining softly under the kitchen light. She is humming to herself when the door creaks open. Mama Ola steps inside. She doesn't move quickly or confidently like she usually does. She walks in slow, careful steps as if the floor might suddenly crack. Kesi turns, surprised. Mama never follows her into the kitchen. For a long moment, Mama just stares at the dress. Her eyes travel from the shoulders to the slit to the careful stitching at the waist. She seems to be studying every inch. Kesi feels her stomach tighten. She prepares herself for a joke, a comment, a small sting disguised as laughter. She even starts to form a joke in her mind, something to protect herself before anything hurts. Mama clears her throat. "So this dress?" "Yes," Kesi says, trying to sound calm even though her heart is thumping. Mama hesitates, her voice drops. "Where did you buy it?" The question hangs in the air like a dropped plate about to shatter. It's so unexpected, so unbelievable that for a second Kesi thinks she heard wrong. Her mouth opens slightly. No joke, no insult, just a real question. A question that tastes like respect. A small, shocked laugh slips out of her. "I didn't buy it," she says softly. "I made it." The silence that follows is thick but gentle. Mama's face changes in ways Kesi has never seen before. Her expression softens, then tightens, then softens again. Embarrassment sits there. Pride sits there. Maybe even regret. Her eyes glisten for just a second before she quickly looks away and pretends to stir something in the pot. Her hand shakes. From the doorway, an aunt who has clearly been listening lets out a tiny, emotional awe. She wipes her eyes, pretending she wasn't eavesdropping. Kesi watches Mama, feeling a strange mix of shock and tenderness. She could brag. She could remind Mama of every insult. She could smile in victory. But she doesn't. She takes a deep breath, one that wobbles a bit, and says, "I can make one for you too if you want." Mama's lips tremble. Then she lets out a soft, shaky laugh, almost like she swallowed something too big. "Maybe you can." For the first time in years, the space between them feels less like a wall and more like a doorway slowly opening. The pot continues to bubble, filling the room with warmth, and Kesi stands there feeling something she never expected to feel in this kitchen: peace. Months pass, and Nguvu Street gets a new kind of brightness. Kesi culture now has its own little shop with a glass front painted in soft colors and her logo shining proudly. Mannequins stand by the window wearing her bold designs, the kind of pieces she once only imagined in her mind. Inside, a group of girls giggle loudly as they try on matching skirts, spinning so fast their braids lift like wings. A fashion blogger stands near the back wall, snapping pictures and talking excitedly about the local designer changing the style of Nyalongo. On opening day, the shop is packed until there's barely space to move. Friends from Cower Market squeeze in. Women from church wave at her from across the room. Even the woman from Mbele Bus Park, the one who gave her that first life-changing compliment, stands near the counter, smiling proudly. People clap and call her name. Someone shouts for a speech, and Kesi lets out a big laugh that shakes a little, full of happiness and disbelief. Near the door stands Mama Ola in a dress Kesi made just for her. The deep plum fabric glows on her skin, and the beadwork catches the light with every breath she takes. She keeps touching the dress like she can't quite believe it's hers. When someone compliments her, she points proudly to Kesi and says, "My daughter-in-law made it." Her eyes shine with something soft and real. Kesi sees her and feels tears gather, but these ones are warm, not painful. All the years of mockery, all the nights she cried quietly, all the forced laughs, none of them hold her anymore. They fall away like old cloth she no longer needs. The shop buzzes around her, full of color and voices. A little girl twirls in front of the mirror and squeals that she looks like a queen. Kesi smiles, heart steady, and says, "You do." And for the first time, everyone understands she finally believes that about herself too.